Howdy ho, neighbor. Well, I'm still in mourning, because of having deaths in the family that aren't really dead, but they might as well be dead because once I reach that point, there's just no going back, you know. But I covered all that. But yeah, I had some more fun where uh, when the landlord exterminated for roaches upstairs, when they had like a clown car thing going where there was like 8 or 6 people living in a one bedroom apartment. And they brought in roaches, and he didn't tell me about it. And he drove the roaches down here. I kind of just been. I put a couple of dabs of poison here and there, but I haven't been too thorough about it. So I, I still have roaches. And then I got my caregiver that I like, whose name begins with the M. That I think she thought better of it. She offered to actually come in here and break company policy and do cleaning and just take measures, you know, that I suggested, which make perfect sense, which is, frankly, you go into a contaminated area, you bag up your clothes, you get naked somewhere, not here, and you put new clothes on, you take the bagged up clothes and you heat the living hell out of them. And, like she said, she ain't gonna be sitting anywhere. Anyway, she's gonna be moving around. I'm mostly in this stupid bed. So it seemed like it made perfect sense, but I think she thought better of it. But I've been seeing her on the regular, and I'm like thinking, man, she looks like my younger sister. Every time I see her, she looks more like my younger sister, which is weird. But she got a fucked up, complicated life, man. And I was like, you got a lot of drama going on. And she's telling me all this stuff, and I'm not going to repeat, of course. And she said, not really. And I said, well, let me put you this way. You got a lot of drama going around you. And she's like, okay, I'll buy that for $1. But um, the thing of it is like I saw her yesterday, and all we did was sit and smoke. She smokes, and she admitted to being a smoker before I ever even asked her for a cigarette. So when she sees me and comes over here for the 2 hours or whatever, it is 2 hours. She just cracks out a cigarette every time she cracks out one. She gave me one. So all we did was talk, because I was like, I have no energy and you can't come in the house. And I don't really want to like get rid of my boxes now or get garbage for you or anything like that. And I was like, why don't you just tell him I was depressed and needed to some talk therapy or something like that. She said, no, no, you don't want to do that. They'll send other people out here. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I guess that can be counted as part of her job. It's just like keeping old people company or whatever. But so, anyways, I just sat and talked to her, checking my coffee. I'm keeping it hot over here on the radiator heater. I can't drink it. It's terrifyingly hot. But so the time that she came before, I took all those measures, extreme measures, anti-bed bug measures, and I dropped a roll of paper towels, like behind the bed. There's poison, buku poison back there, but it must have a shelf life. I put that poison back there a while ago. And have had zero ambition. So I'm sitting here and I see something shows up real good on the white uh, paper towels toward the foot of the bed, and I'm like, oh no, no, please don't be what I think you are. And of course, it was a bed bug. And like 2 months. Let's see. Last spraying was June 14th, and that was a few days ago, so it's about right. It's about how my cousin described it. 2 to 3 months, you're back. That they come back. They are Jason Voorhees. This one was all sickly and stuff. I could tell. Sounds like there's something wrong with this. He got a taste of that poison back there. It was on the way out anyway. Let's throw it in the garbage. But I woke up. I've been sleeping very weird, so I woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Turned on the light, and there was a very lively one, and it had already fed on me, I guess. So you know, I'm already depressed, and like buku depressed because, like I said, I had to end a 45-year relationship um, with my foster brother, which he doesn't know that yet, but I don't know how to express that to him. You know, I was like, if I really wanted to be cruel, I could just give him the link to the YouTube video I made about what his mother actually is, what he did, all the truths that he's running from with his super powerful ganja they got nowadays, and just running from in general. Now, his slavish devotion to his mother, who starved, beat him, and abandoned him for 7 years in prison, where he feels like he has to take care of her like every second of every day. I mean, she's got some Svengali like hold over him, or like some kind of mesmerism. She's got like a slave for life. And I asked his older sister about it. Uh, he was like, "Well, look at the benefit he gets from it." This is before she got sick. It's like she's washing and cleaning and cooking. And it's like it all sounds very Oedipal to me. It just doesn't sound right. He had a girlfriend living there for like years. Uh, but I was like, it's doomed. It's doomed. You can't have your mother and your girlfriend living in the same house when it's a 3-bedroom small house. It's not gonna work. I mean, how the fuck did they even have sex? When there's a chance that your mother could be here and you have sex. And then I was thinking about like when he lived on this road named Cleveland Avenue. It was like an intersection of Cleveland Avenue and some other place. But he got actually his mom. It was a weird like apartment altogether. It had like these wooden sliding doors, for instead of like a regular bedroom door with a lock. And his mom slid back the door while this uh, girl named Carrie was riding in doggy style and was like almost like holding a conversation with him. I can't remember exactly, but I was like, that should have been like a quick slam of the door, but it was like, she just stood there for a second. So there's a very unhealthy thing going on there. I don't even know how to describe that. It's like, if you ain't cut them apron strings over somebody that starved and beat you and abandoned you at the age of 50, then you fucked up in the head. But I can't feel sorry for someone that's like that, that's watched me suffer and not give a damn, and that's like wrecks my property and won't admit it, and is like a total clinical narcissist with tinges of sociopathy. So really, I got it. Really, it's me. It's like I I didn't want to see it or whatever. There was a point in our lives where I was like, I don't like living where I'm living. I'm like, he just broke up with this other girl. I think, what the fuck was her name? I don't remember, but she had size 4'7" or something like that. She had the world's tiniest feet. She was like a little fidget. Man, she was a tiny little thing, like 4 foot, literally like 4'9" or something like that. Almost like a midget. and she was loopy as fuck. It's like never had. Talked to her like a dozen times and never had a conversation past the weather with her. She was like a stir. I knew there was something wrong with her. She was like bricked off like a stone wall. Anyways, he broke up with her, and I was like, why don't we get a place together? I mean, you got nowhere to go. That was her apartment, and it's like I'm living in this dump. And that was the place that I was paying like $225 a month. I was like, well, hell, I can get a much better place and split the rent, and you know, I can it'd live better than this. I was still thinking, he was right. I never learned, I just never learned. It just took me this long. He was like, no, I'm gonna go back and live with my mom, and I'm like, why? Why would you want to do that? And he was like, well, I'm paying her bills anyway. Next question would have been, why are you paying her bills? Why are you paying the bills of someone that starved you and abandoned you for 7 years and got thrown in prison for a heinous crime? And I didn't ask, It's like, he's like, I'm paying her bills anyway. I might as well be living there. So, yeah, that's somebody that really needed therapy, like, really needed to talk to somebody about his issues that never did, you know. And the anger that I feel now, it'll just turn to sadness, but it's depressing right now to me. It's like I'm in a depression because, um, it's like a death. There's no going back with me. There's just no going back. It's just like there's a certain point and it's done. And you realize that I was talking to a lady that begins with the letter M, and she was like, "Yeah, it's like those are the kind of people that call you only when they need something." And I was like thinking back, and I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much, you know, pretty much like 90% of all phone calls involve them wanting something from me. You know, they didn't even have enough sense to like mix it up and just say, "Oh, how you doing?" Or not even good at sociopathy. Sociopathy is about ingratiating yourself so you can use people. It's like you're not even skilled at it. You know, it's like you gotta call up and be friendly. You gotta be like my dad. Like my dad would have this funny walk. Used to crack me up that would put people at ease, but he would walk over there with his goofy walk, murdering son of I don't want to say son of a bitch because I didn't know my grandma, but son of a bastard for sure. And he just had this funny walk that he would walk over to people, and it would just like put him at ease. It was a goofy kind of walk, and then he'd strike up a conversation with them, and he knew how to ingratiate himself with people first. These people that I cut ties with, they didn't never even try. It's like never call and say like, "Oh, how you been?" Just wondering about you, just checking up on you. I just want to tell you that I love you. None of that shit. You know, I guess I can give them credit for honesty in that way. But as far as sociopathy points, thumbs down. Terrible. My dad was much better sociopath than they were or they are. Um, because you got to mix it up. I mean, you can't like use people just like every freaking time you call. You need this, you want this, you did this, and yeah, um, it's funny like because of the degrees of alienation that I tend to reside in. It's like the woman I was talking to this morning, and I'll just call her M. M is like, well, you seem to like, be in good spirits and handle it very well. And I'm like, that's called a poker face. like, like my depression was so severe. It's like I didn't want to like do anything. I didn't want to like um, even when the bed bug appeared, I didn't strip my bed. I didn't strip the sheets, and like some old hardened aide told me like you actually have to put duct tape on the zippered part of the seams. And I went cheap on the box springs encasement thing too. So that might even got torn or something when I um, dropped it back down into the bed. I mean, I don't know. I gotta check it out. But yeah, I'm in that depression thing now, where like I was like fighting depression. The only way you can fight depression is through action. It's like to make yourself do stuff, and it's like the hardest thing in the world. Like I had M take pictures of my scooter outside where the light was good. That's that broken one to sell. And she's like, "Did you sell that yet?" And I'm like, "I didn't even make the ad for it yet." It's like, "Nah, I didn't sell that yet." And then I got this other situation going on where this guy's a known thief. Okay, it's my dude that lives upstairs, the war veteran guy. He's a known thief, and he is a alcoholic, and I think you can safely say that he's addicted to marijuana. Not physically dependent, addicted. There's a difference. He thinks he has to have it. Period. So addiction's about your head. Physical dependence is about your body and how it reacts. And the dude smokes more weed than anybody I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen some smokers. It's like, he's like, "Do you have any idea how much money I spend on weed a month?" And I'm like, it was rhetorical. Guy is, you know, he's like walled off half the time where you can't talk to him at all, or, he's volatile. It's like, you know, he wants company, so he wants me to sit out there, but he was like, tells me, like, "Why don't you just leave me alone?" And I'm like, "You knocked on my door, that's why I'm not leaving you alone." What he means is just shut up being a physical being in my presence and play cards and nothing else. I don't want no conversation, even the most banal surface conversation. I don't want, because it's gonna piss. It pissed him off that I called him Sir Christopher. If you can imagine that, you know, I was like, as being humorous, and I was like, I even brought it back up to when M came. I even brought it back up. I was like, this guy got pissed off because I called him Sir Christopher. That's a knighthood. I knighted the guy, and he gets mad at me. But he said he got so he stormed off. Not he was like, "You have a good day. You just have a good day." He's all fucking pissed off. He said he got impulse control, so he actually contemplated throwing the 50-inch TV that I gave him down the steps. And back in my general direction, I was like, "How's that gonna punish me? That's just gonna punish you. I already gave it to you." And he's like, "Yeah, that's probably why I didn't do it." you know. And then like I've been trying to give him entertainment and find him stuff to do. So I bought him I spent $50 on a PlayStation and 22 games. And I guess the PlayStation doesn't work. And I told him, well, if it doesn't work, which I think he just needs to buy a cable for it. But once he runs out of the brewskis, man, it's desperation time. So I think he tried. He told me the other day that he tried to pawn it at like a GameStop type place, or like sell it, and it wasn't worth much because they couldn't get it to work either. So they wanted give him $10 for it and turned it down. But I think the thing actually works. It just needs a cable or something. But I'm not a gamer and I don't know about them things. So it's a great concern to me that this guy is unemployed. has impulse control, knows that I have thousands of dollars worth of stuff in here. So, that's, I should be selling that shit. You know, I should be selling, I should be selling this guitar over here. I should be selling my GR33 synthetic board thing. That I'm definitely gonna make a profit on that. I can't sell my expensive sports cards yet because the season hasn't started. But once the Brown season starts, the key to that is like the Browns are going to play both Super Bowl teams from last year. Okay, if they beat the Rams in the third week of the season, it's all up because that's legitimacy. Rams made it to the Super Bowl, and the Patriots. I don't know if you could say they dominated it. It was a defensive type of Super Bowl or whatever, and you got a super experienced, ultimate experienced team against a first time team. And they had an injury, I think, to their main running back, the Rams did. So if the Browns beat the Rams, that's legitimacy. They don't even have the Patriots games down the road. So it's like I can start to sell and sell and sell. And that's one of the things that the depression is keeping me from doing is taking all the pictures that I need of the various cards that I have. You know, all the Mayfields and Nick Chubb autograph rookies and all that shit, all that stuff that I'm worried about this guy breaking into my house and stealing. Because he has a history of doing that, and he has a fondness for sports cards. I never showed them to him, but he knows I have them. You know, he can see the packages coming in the mail. And one time, we were sitting out there and playing poker outside, and I was like, "You're always watching people open cards on the internet. Why don't you open cards in person?" And he's like, "Nah," just because he's like that. And I'm like, "Okay, I'll open it." He's like, "What'd you get?" And I'm like, "Here." I showed it to him, and there were some numbered to 99 autograph Prism rookies. So I fell in love with this one dude's name, Greedy Williams. He has a chance to actually be a starting cornerback. They were just worried about his tackling ability. So, I guess he proved that in training camp that he could tackle. And I seen him make mistakes in preseason and stuff when he played. But who's gonna forget a name like Greedy Williams? Okay, I mean, Mike Davis is one of the greatest cornerbacks in the history of football, but his name's Mike Davis. So unless you're an old bastard like me, you don't know who he is. Okay, George Atkinson. Do you know that name? These names, football's like that. But if you got a name like Mean Joe Green, you got Greedy Williams, Hacksaw Reynolds, those people, just because of the name, you ain't gonna forget that. you know. So also, like, he seems to be a talent. So I was like, I have like showed him a Greedy Williams autograph rookie and stuff, so he knows I got valuable shit in here. And it's like, not that I'm bragging about it, or not that I would ever break out my collection and show it to him. I showed him like I said, I'm showing you some trust now, because I've been showing him some trust. And I was like, I showed him my Baker Mayfield collection, not the really expensive stuff that I bought, but just like a box of stuff that I had um, for a while. He was looking through it. And he's like, I really like this card. How much will you sell this card? And I said, that's got to be $30. I was like, it's a $30 card right now. I said, and it turns out, it's going for like 50 or 60 before the season even starts. So, he knows I got that kind of shit in here. He's like, not the only an idiot would be like bragging up how much shit they have in their apartment. But I would leave the door open and we'd go out and play cards, and I'd just say, go in and get whatever. I trust him. And one time, there was a moment of trepidation where it's like it's taken him an awful long time to get what I sent him in there to get. You know, it's like all the pack of cards is in there, or they get something out of the refrigerator or whatever. But that one time there was like a big long pause, and you know, you can't, you never trust a junkie. You just never do, because even my super moral person, it's highly developed conscience, like really like one of the most moral conscience-ridden people I've ever known. Um, when they started taking certain substances, they were like, the way he put it is it erodes that. He's like, it just erodes your conscience like water on a sandcastle. Um, so yeah, that's a concern. He was able to go to he's a vet, so he's able to go to the VA and get some help with his bills, and get some food assistance and stuff like that. But he hasn't had a job for like a month since he got fired from the potato chip factory. And so yeah, that's a big something that weighs on my mind. It's like now I don't even want to go anywhere, because I want to be here to guard my shit. It's like my whole thing about giving him my TV and giving him the DVD player and giving him the PlayStation is to get him the fuck off the porch. But he likes hanging out on the porch and like playing with his phone. And he didn't even put no effort into getting the PlayStation 2 working. Um, Probably because he doesn't have any money and it needs like a cable or something. I don't know. I told him look, that's got a 30-day money back guarantee on it, and it costs like $53. It's like he's like, no, 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 no. Then he's trying to pawn it for. He's trying to like get $10 booze money for it. Not a good sign for Steve. But it's like when I leave, it's gonna suck. It's like because the whole time that I leave, he'll probably be sitting out on the porch, or maybe see I gotta take the SARTA bus to the doctor's. Or I might even cancel that appointment altogether. I might cancel that appointment altogether and take Scenic View, but it doesn't matter because last time I took Scenic View, he was out on the porch and he knows I'm gone. He knows I live alone. And yeah, I don't think my house is that hard to break into. You know, the windows are pretty secure. I always keep them locked. Ever since Gerald bought the building, I always keep everything locked up, always. But it's a concern. Um, I guess today, I got up early. I put a phone call. I finally got my phone back because these so-called, the lady M calls them Obama phones, right? But you can only buy minutes for them once a month, no matter how much you want to spend. So I spent $5, used up I think I said this before, used up all the minutes, and I haven't had a phone for like at least 10 days. So, today I get my phone back and I can call the scooter company. I'm thinking about rescheduling my appointment, though my doctor hates that for whatever reason. But I'm thinking about rescheduling my appointment so I don't have to take SARTA, because SARTA blows. And yeah, maybe I should do that. Playing a warning. Tell them I can't make it for one reason or another. No, they never ask any reasons. Like I said, only the one place, the psych place, asks you why you have to have a reason for not coming in. You know. No, I like talking on here to you people. You're such excellent listeners. Uh, but yeah, when I said I come from very bad people, like the dregs of society, believe it. The last video I made, believe it. Just believe it. If you don't, I don't know why you wouldn't. Believe it. There's no account for human behavior. Not as far as evil or the evil that I talked about, where you have women raping a man with an object. Um, there's no account for human behavior. It's like, why would you feel loyalty to that person? It's like, I told my dad, like, face to face, my dad, you know, Benny the Blade killed a dog with one punch, choked out a child that was faster than lightning. Uh, that guy, I told him face to face, I don't owe you anything. You know, I don't owe you an explanation. I told him that in his house. You know, once I had some place to go, of course. Like, I don't owe you anything. You know, and like this guy got treated worse than my dad. Just terrorized me basically because I knew what he was, and I don't remember even getting hit. I got hit some, but I don't remember getting hit that much. Um, I mean, I had a Cool Hand Luke incident. I don't know if I ever told you that before, but I bought that movie for the war vet guy because I think that anybody that watches movies that hasn't seen Cool Hand Luke, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? It's one of the greatest movies ever made. I mean, it's popularized by Guns N' Roses, Civil War. Don't you ever talk to me like that. What we've got here is failure to communicate. So you get what we had here last week, which is the way he wants it. Well, he gets it. I don't like it any more than you, man. You know, like, how can you have not seen Cool Hand Luke? You know, so I bought it for him for like $4. And then he's like, I just watched that movie you gave me, man. That was a pretty cool movie, man. It was good. And I was like, is it worth a cigarette? And he's like, no. And he's like, I'll sell it back to you for a cigarette. You know, that type of dude. It's like, I'm just chronically, I don't know. There's some kind of sickness in me that makes me want to be nice to people. And the dude in the wheelchair that's, you know, then he was like, give the man a cigarette, you know, and he got so offended by the guy's behavior. He's like, I'm going in and getting something to eat. He was sitting outside there, and the vet had, you know, he was out there, and I guess he wanted all three of us out there to talk or whatever, because we had a funny talk that one day. The three of us, the guy in the wheelchair, the intermediary guy in the wheelchair that's almost in a wheelchair, and the guy with the good legs that's like the evolution of man crawling out of the sea, except for a wheelchair, cane, you know what I mean? Um, so that's the first time after I ripped the arm off the chair and threw it in the yard that he risked actually pounding on my door. You know, the next time he was like tap 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 quietly on my door because it like freaked him out. He's like, this dude just broke a fucking metal arm off a chair. And I was just sitting there going, you know, just like a bull or something, you know, just seething. And he was like, wasn't even looking in my direction and shit. Yeah, I knew it freaked him out because really deep down he's kind of afraid of me. Just because I was like, you know, come on, let's just arm wrestle like dudes and show me what you got. You know, man, I got depressed because I was lifting 20-pound dumbbells. And I got so sore, it felt like I was injured. And I'm like, are you shitting me? I got to start out with just the bar and the motions. I've actually let myself slide that far. So he was like, no, you'll break my arm. You're not even in my same weight class and stuff like that. And he's like, no, no. And I said, I won't try to put you down. I promise. Just show me what you got. So I held him up, and he had the leverage position, and I was like, oh, he's done this before. You gotta lock your hands and shit like that. And he turned it loose a little bit, and he couldn't move me. And he's like, "Did I do good?" And I was like, "Oh, you're strong. There's no doubt about that." And I was thinking like, I do have good upper body strength, but why did it hurt so bad when I was trying to lift just 20-pound dumbbells? Um, but yeah, I don't think it freaked him out or anything when I hit the door because, like I said, I was like, I haven't thrown a punch, a real punch, for like 20 or 30 years. He's like, don't do it, man. You'll break your hand or whatever like that. And he's like, I don't want to watch this. And I said, you can't stop me from doing anything, dude. And I wrapped up my hand and I hit the door and I dented it a little bit. The front door is like a security door, and it wasn't even a good punch. And he was like, I wouldn't want to get hit with that. He said that first punch sucked because my feet slipped and I was standing on the ramp to get into the house. I hit the second punch. Actually got a little something behind it, but not much. And it did hurt my hand just a little bit. I hit pretty square. And he's like, yeah, you put a little dent in the door. So those things are at least in the back of his mind. It doesn't hurt. But what I had to have him do, I'm afraid of breaking my hand. You know, when you really sell out on a punch and you use your whole body. Um, like I watch him punch stuff and he pulls it back. You punch through the target. To do that with a door, like I broke my sister's door. I think I told you before because oh, it's about this. It's about that long. Just if I had it handy, I'm never scripted, but let's see. Yeah, no, it's shorter than this, but it's like a metal hot dog. It literally weighs, um, I think either a quarter or a half a pound. But I stopped carrying knives when I would walk in these bad neighborhoods. So I'm like, if a cop busts me with this knife ain't legal because it's got to be 4 inches or shorter. So I was like, I'll just carry this. I already can hit like a Mack truck. If I hit somebody with this, man, it's lights out. I don't give a fuck who it is. And I would, carry it in my hand. And it actually went into these little slots and ankle weights. And that way you could take these metal bars out. You could start out like with 2 pounds on your ankle weights and raise them up all the way up to 5 pounds or whatever. But yeah, I think I told that story before that I ruined my sister's closet door because I was like, I always carry this thing with me, especially when I'm walking down here through your shitty neighborhood, and I never tried it out. It's like I want to try it out. She's like, if you want to break your hand, I was like, can I punch your closet door? And she's like, if you want to break your hand, go ahead. Don't come crying to me about it. I'm like, okay. So I put that metal hot dog looking thing and I wrapped it up in an ace bandage. And I hit the door and my arm went all the way through to the elbow. She was like, holy fuck. All these people come running down from upstairs and they're like, what the hell just happened? And my sister was like, what just happened is my brother just fucked up my closet door. And then my brother-in-law come up from the basement and he's like, what are you doing? I was like, what did you do that for? But it was just a piece of paneling that I knocked out. It wasn't a solid thing. It was just a piece of paneling. So it wasn't no big deal. It wasn't like a punch through. Like I was thinking about hitting this door since I don't have any cleaning deposit. I'm a little afraid of breaking my hand, but not with the hot dog, but just like, I'm always talking about having the fist of doom, and just for something to do, to make a video that's not an hour long of me enjoying the sound of my own voice, and just hitting my bedroom closet, my bedroom door in this my prison I'm always stuck in. I don't have no deposit, so it doesn't matter what I do to the door. Kind of matters what I do to my hand, but it don't have none of that paneling shit in there where you could just knock out a panel. You know, um, I didn't do that on purpose. But if I hit this door, there could be some consequences. I'm like I don't like to say silly shit. Everybody's like, I'm tough. I can hit like a Mack truck and all this stuff. It's like no, I'll just show you. Even with bad legs and having a Baker cyst in my right knee, show you what I got. You know, I don't think anybody that's watching this or watches me habitually probably doesn't think I'm a liar anyway. But I'll just show you what I got and see if I can get a good one off to where I'm on level ground. And when you punch, it's got to come up from the floor. It's got to come up from the foot all the way up the leg. The hip is very important, you know, but you can't be thinking that shit while you're doing it. All you're thinking about is punching through the target. But that's the technique that you use, is you turn your hip and you turn your side and you punch through the target. This could be problematic for my hand, though. I do not want to bust my hand and go into the emergency room. But being as kind of slightly touched, as the Native Americans would put it, it's touched by the spirits. Being slightly touched, I'll probably get around to doing that, actually. A little broken hand and a visit to the emergency room is a good enough way to shake yourself out of a depression as any, right? I never had a broken hand before. But that's the security door on the outside there that I was standing on the ramp. It even has like a metal plate, like on part of it. I didn't hit that part of it, but it's a real heavy door that I hit. I was like, felt that a little bit. I didn't really get a good shot in. But I got these Muay Thai gloves that have gel padding, and then I'll take precautions. But yeah, been stuck in this room, and then it's just something to do. It won't have the same effect as when I punched my sister's door. My arm won't go through to the elbow because I won't be hitting paneling. It was a thick door, but it had like paneling pieces in it. And I just knocked out, it wasn't a fist hole going through. It was like I knocked out a whole panel. I felt nothing. My hand felt nothing. And I also had that weight in there. I'm going to do this without weight because that would be cheating. That's cheating. But I told that M woman this morning, because she's got a lighter with a case in it that's real heavy, and I said, man, if you ever need to, man, put that in your hand. She's like, oh, I know about that. I was thinking about all the stuff she was telling me about, her crazy background. I'm like, yeah, you probably do. No, I just felt like talking. Instead of watching the baseball game, my throat's a little messed up. I smoked a bunch of cigarettes in the morning with M, and then the lady upstairs. I went ahead and you know clipped off the end with the scissors because I don't know where her mouth went. That's what I told her. I had scissors on my keychain and I clipped off the end, and she's like, "You want this?" Because she had to jump in a car with no smoking. I'm like, "Sure, I'll use it later." And then I clipped off the end rather than get another one of M's lights and her compromised cigarettes, and smoked that. So I smoked a bunch in the morning, and then that's it. I think, yeah, that's it, because I didn't have any interaction with the I didn't hear the war vet if you knocked, but and taking naps, which is probably part of my sleep disruption. And yeah, the only way out of depression, and it's so damn hard, is like to do something positive. Pick up the phone, make some phone calls. Um, you know, and it's like I was thinking about it. I'm sorry for scratching my head like that if the microphone's picking it up. But I was thinking about it, and it's like I don't have safe harbors, so you know I was like texting the people in my family are whacked out of their fucking minds, obviously, and I got the one guy I can trust, like where I told him like 90, I'm 99%, 99.9% sure that when I get off the phone with you, I won't feel abused or I won't feel mistreated or like that you'll be supportive. And it's like there's nothing like being down and out, you know, and like talking to somebody and like pouring your heart out. And they're like not listening to you, or they're like, I love the part where like my niece took the side of the guy that sprayed me with poison. Like, you got family like that, you don't need enemies. That was great. Not at the time, of course, but it's just great. You know, it's great story material. She didn't even let me explain myself, and like I was trying to explain myself to the vet guy and his girlfriend. I think I got a big mouth. That the dude is not stupid. He's smarter than I am, which I'm above average intelligence. I think that's safe to say. And he was like, um, "I thought you said Warbeck guy had a job," and I'm like, "He did have a job. He lost his job, and then like a week later, because I thought it was funny. Like I've said this before, so forgive the repeat. Um, that this dumbass landlord Gerald signed him to a 12-month lease when he could have had him kicked out of here for, which is what he should have done, is had him kicked out of here for trespassing because he's not on the lease, so he's a trespasser. So he can get kicked out like by the police like instantly, and I don't care what happens here. I care now that I'm thinking about it because it's like this guy's got a substance problem, a bad one, and no money to feed his habits, and access to things he can sell if he wants to break my windows. He'll have to break my windows to break in here, or maybe these are like windows are like 14 feet off the ground. I might even start locking those. You might find a ladder somewhere or something. Um, but no, I don't trust him no more. I mean, I wanted to show him some trust and some love because thanks, Mom, for the Christian ethics. You get somebody like that they were raised. I'm not going to go into his history out of respect, but just unbelievable abuse. I mean, lifetime movie type shit, and you know, soft-hearted. What can I tell you? I show him some trust. I let him in my house. I'm sitting out on the porch. You know, show him some of my cars and stuff. I didn't understand. Like, I thought maybe like I could kind of get rid of him, or just like get him off the porch because uh, he just didn't have any energy. He got electricity. He's all happy he got electricity, but he's like, now I need a TV, and like this is all repeats. And I was like, $150, and he's like, I need not $150. It's an expensive hobby, and also a very expensive hobby if you do it like he does. Like I can get by on $35 a week. This guy, $35 a, or $35 a month. This guy is more like 35 to 70 a week at least. And anyways, the stuff I was smoking was like mids, and then this is like the like whoa type of shit. So anyways, I was like, just take the TV because I'm just trying to get him, you know, he's wanting to make coffee out of my coffee pot and shit. I'm like, I'll just buy you a coffee pot. Like, just get the fuck, get good fences. Fences make good neighbors, man. Just get the fuck out. Off the porch. I'll be happy to talk to you sometimes, but Jesus Christ. But, you know, he's just a real, real lonely, hurt individual. So that's was all like a waste of time on my part. Um, because there he is, you know, 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking to him, and he pops out at like 8:15. You know, it's just like he likes being outside and likes company and hates it at the same time. He likes you to sit there and be quiet and be a human being in his presence, but don't talk to him. Don't say the wrong thing to him. Anything could be the wrong thing. So, you know, it's just like, he's like, aren't we going to play cards today? Or like he called through the window, you want to come out and play? You know, that one day, hasn't played cards, you know, he's just like, yeah, that PlayStation was a good investment. Because I thought I could make a trade with the PlayStation, like I said before, and like, he could like watch out for me when I'm taking walks and stuff. And, like if I fall down, he could come help me, pick me up. But if he's drunk off his ass and belligerent, he'll probably laugh and say, hey, get up yourself. It's good for you. You know. And he was talking about. I was like, I need a drill sergeant. You know, I need somebody to encourage me to exercise and shit. So, you know, he's like, I had 3 drill sergeants. And he named them all off and everything for the different parts of the military that he was in and whatnot, and different jobs he had to do. And yeah, but I started on all that because he asked me, Roy asked me a simple question. It's like, I thought you said, you know, I'm not lying. It's like, I was trying to explain to him, it's like, it's not like I volunteered the information that you didn't have no job. The guy asked me if you had a job or not. I'm not lying for you. We're not in the mafia, you know. And both his girlfriend and and he had something to say about that. They wouldn't let me explain it. I did not offer that information, you know. I did not volunteer that. I did volunteer the fact that he was signed to the lease because I thought it was fucking hilarious. I did volunteer that. That is true. The fact that he was unemployed, I did. You know, the guy asked me a direct question, and I wasn't lying. I'm not a liar. You know. Um, but I did think that was funny, and I was like, yeah, signs him to a lease in the morning, and the guy's face down with 6 cops around him on the porch on the cement saying, don't hurt my dick. I was like, really? Don't hurt your dick? And you know, he's zip tied on the cold concrete um, about 12 hours after signing the 12-month lease. Like that, yeah, that's the kind, you know, because I think the Roy guy realizes he's kind of stuck here, so he's not the type that has illusions, but he wants to hold on to the illusion that Gerald is at least a manageable and reasonable landlord. So he was shocked at that. So he came and he talked, you know, he narked out the whole situation to the landlord. And why are you signing somebody that's unemployed? You know, he probably mentioned because there's beer cans like all over the porch all the time. There's beer cans out, you know, the wind outside my window right here. Like, and he says, I hope you don't mind me throwing my beer cans out there. I'll just wait until there's enough of them and then collect them and try to get money back for them. You know, uh, But yeah, it's just a whole interwoven web of madness living here. Um, uh, my heart's not behaving itself too well lately either. And I was actually checking my supply of volume. That's how rough it's been living here. You know, PTSD ain't no joke. That ain't no joke, man. Crazy ain't no joke. You know, you gotta, like I said, I like that. That was pretty good one. It's like the guy beat up the house until his hands bled, and then looked at the blood dripping down the house like he was Picasso, and he would actually he's left the blood stains out there, and you know, he would be offended if I washed off that blood. He'd be like, "Where's my blood?" But actually, Picasso was the wrong reference. It should have been Jackson Pollock. But in a pinch, I did pretty good. But here's the thing about the boat, okay? The boat is still in my asshole, twisted in the brain, Foster Brothers name. Okay, because like after I got that mad, I washed my hands of it. I was like, my niece offered to take it down there and, you know, get it signed. And I told the war vet, I said, you could just drop it in the mailbox and he'll sign it, you know, and then you can come back and pick it up in the mailbox, even though they don't want him to go around there, you know. I guess I could get my electric bike running and do it, but it's like, why do I want to help this guy out anyway? So I was kind of like, it's your boat now. I threw him the, it was in a plastic bag that sealed and stuff, you know. So he's just been leaving it out on the porch, or literally on the ground of the porch, not even like on the card table. So it's not going to help whoever finds the title, but it's just a weird thing. It's like, from what I understand, unless this guy is just was so high or full of shit, my foster brother, that he's wrong. It's all he has to do is get his signature on there, and then he being the war vet can take it into a notary and get it notarized without uh, his enemy there, you know. But he won't do it. And it's like, do I really want to get re-involved in this? I was kind of like, when I was pissed, it's kind of like, it's your boat now. Do what you want to. And he was like, he said something crazy, like he was gonna hollow it out and make a fish tank out of it or something like that, you know. And just crazy stuff, you know, it's PTSD. Um, but he really could get at least $300 for it. Even at this time of season, we can get at least $300 for a broken motor or no broken motor, because it's got a working trolling motor on it. Um, and $300 is nothing for a bass boat. It's structurally intact. All it needs is a cleaned up. That's like, you know, I was trying to keep my conversation with my foster brother to the basics. So when he would say stupid shit, I would mostly let it pass. I only slipped up a couple of times. But he was like, all it needs is a good cleaning. And, you know, if I wanted to extend the conversation past I just want the boat out of here, and wanted the vet guy to have it. So I didn't say the obvious. I said, who's going to clean it? How about the guy who put it in that condition? How about you? Are you going to clean it? You know, are you going to get the motor running that you can say, you know, all that it needs is some starter fluid and that'll run? Are you going to do all that? Are you going to fix all that damage? You know, I didn't want to even go there. I just wanted to get the title transferred properly, you know. So when he just has all them hostile feelings, it's kind of funny, you know. He used the same phrase. If you ever hear this phrase from anybody, uh, danger, warning, red lights, flashing type things should go off in your head. I will always love you, or I will always love him. Okay, that's what my sister gave me the big kiss off. That's what she said to me. I will always love you. That's after me abusing me and not owning up to what she did. And after me telling her, look, the nature of the disease is if you hurt me emotionally, you hurt me physically. So you have to treat me like a little differently. You can't be hanging up on me when I'm waiting for a diagnosis on rheumatoid arthritis. You can't be doing that kind of shit. And then I finally said, well, it's pretty clear you want to do you at the expense of me, and I can't have that. And she was like, no matter what happens, I will always love you. And this guy in the text said, I will always love him. And I was like, well, here's a chance to show that you love him. And it's called his bluff. And of course, he hates his fucking guts. It's just bullshit. you know, goddamn, man. Messed up world. Messed up people. I wonder what it'd be like to be around sane people. I've met very few sane people. Like, I'm trying to think, like, even my best buddy, the cop, I remember him, like, making fun of Native American religious beliefs, and he's like a fundamentalist Christian and he went to, like, the Creation Museum and visited it, because he's got to buy the literal interpretation of the Bible and the whole Word of God thing. And it's like, I just don't go there with him. He knows I believe in God. It's like he knows I have different beliefs, but he also knows a lot about me, so he knows that I live by a Christian code, and that should be good enough for anybody. That I'm always thinking about the other guy, or looking out for the other guy, or giving the other guy a fucking TV or a PlayStation, just out of the kindness of my heart, and giving people the benefit of the doubt. It makes me gullible, like, because I follow those principles that my mom taught me. And thank God she taught me them, because my father taught me, that the way you solve a problem was to hurt people. So, you know, this guy upstairs, man, he never had none of that. He was around, like, heavy drug use and shit. He was never around anybody that had any, like, honor, integrity, principles, morals, that was sober. I'm not saying he didn't have any of those things. It's like, but those all go out the window when you're high out of your fucking mind on something. Um, that's why people get. Why don't we get drunk and screw? Which it made her very uncomfortable. But I like outed. This is messed up. I outed my aid worker this morning. You know, on being a switch hitter. You know, because she slipped up. She had a little slip of the tongue, but it was like something that an intelligent person, or not somebody that wasn't listening, would not pick up on. And I'm like, I forget how it went exactly, but it was basically, you know, I got her to admit that if there's enough alcohol involved, she's not adverse to yeah, she'll go that way too. But she wasn't comfortable with that whole thing, and it's like, gotta watch what you say around me. I'm like Inspector Clouseau, man. I'm falling all over myself. I'm like a combination of Sherlock Holmes and Inspector Clouseau. I fall all over myself and act like a damn fool. I also got this up here, the Sherlock Holmes part. So I'm Sherlock Clouseau. Yeah, all my references suck, Inspector Clouseau. There's younger people be like, "You mean that bad movie with Steve Martin?" Peter Seller, Buyer, who? You know, Peter Sellers, one of the most talented actors of all time. Like um, Metallica says, "Time marches on, for whom the bell tolls." It tolls for everybody, and the legacies fade. Or people become mythical. You know, like there's plenty of atheists I talk to that don't believe that there was a real historical figure, flesh and blood man uh, named Jesus. He doesn't even have to be named Jesus, you know, but a real guy. It's like okay, show me any kind of religion, any kind of cult, any kind of any group that doesn't have a leader. It's like this group of like Christians were just like coalesced magically, like they all came up with the same ideas and these same philosophies and whatever, and were willing to get killed over them and persecuted and eaten by lions. And I think um, I think Peter, they burned him upside down on a cross or something like that. Um, I don't remember which guy that was, but it's like it doesn't even make any sense. But yeah, atheists generally, when you talk to an atheist, there's two or three different kinds, but there's this one kind of atheist where they were raised in a really shitty, oppressive, nasty religious environments. That, you know, as soon as you say God, you might as well say pedophile. As soon as you discuss the subject, it's over. It's a game over. And I remember this one guy, we got to be friends, but there's a thing called a chick track. And I used like a picture of one in one of my videos, but it was just to terrorize people. This guy was a fucking genius at it, though, man. But I have my story of being a little kid, and it's the scariest thing that ever happened to me on Halloween because I wasn't afraid of the dark. And I was like, you know, I went to this religious lady's house and she gave me this chick track, you know, and I could still see I was still remember being like 9 years old looking at these pictures, man, in this book, you know, the lake of fire, and this guy's minding his own business, and then there's like a um, reaper comes and takes his soul, and he has the quote, you know, "Thy soul be required of thee," and all that, you know, and then he has like a white throne judgment. I forget the name of it. Oh, this was your life. I think I already went through that before in a previous video. Um, yeah, there's no true line to this. This is just me bullshitting because I like to talk, and ain't nobody here to talk to but you. So, uh, I did have something else I was going to mention. Um, it kind of got lost in the shuffle. Um, I don't know if me like having like two scooters in here is gonna screw me up with my uh, when I get my free $2,300 scooter that only goes 5 miles an hour. That's made for indoor use. I could. I don't think it'll be a problem, but I'm thinking maybe I should park the damn thing in here, like right over here. It'll fit. Maybe if I can get it through the doorway. I bought a cloth tape measure before I even try to get it in here. And it's got like a tarp, outdoor tarp, and I can put over top of it, you know, and be like that's for outdoor use only if I get better, and then sell the one that's broken that looks like a little toy compared to that blue beast that I slammed into the parked car. which I watch that car every day because I can see it every day that I'm sitting on the porch. That is, that I can see it and it's never moved. So I'm pretty sure I wrecked into a junker, which is awesome because I'd feel awful if I, just hit and ran on somebody's car that was their car, that they took the work and stuff, and then suddenly somebody just bashed the living fuck out of it because I bashed it real good. But I think it's just a junker. It never moves, and I know that it's all messed. The sides of it are all messed up. So yeah, but yeah, to shake yourself out of a depression, you have to do something. Maybe talking will be a start for me. And it's difficult, like I said. Like I had those dreams of rekindling the fondest memories of my life with that boat, and it made sense at the time because he had bought this boat off of my dad that was like a billion years old and was sanding it in his garage and talking about us going out in it and everything like that. I'm like, I don't really want to go out in that boat. And then he was like, he's like, oh, this guy at work's got this bass boat. He's pretty firm on it. He wants $1,500, and it was all kind of like, it was my idea. It was like I got enough money, I can get a real boat. But I mean, he started it all by buying this boat off my dad and sanding it down. I'm talking about my foster brother, and trying to make it seaworthy and stuff. I'm like, oh. We played cowboys and Indians under that boat, hid under that boat when we were like little tiny kids. He's like, I ain't going out in that. I was like, I can't. Yeah, I'm just not going out. It's too old and it sat out in the weather too long. I don't care how much scrubbing and buffing and scouring you do with that thing. So he's like, turn me on to this other boat. And you already told that story. But yeah, there'll be some morning time over that. You know, like he don't really contact me or seem to want to have anything to do with me at all anyway. And like, this is more repeats, but he had a friend that killed one of his other friends. And I called him one night because I was in distress over something or another and I need someone to call. And he was like, I'm like, where are you at? And he's like, I'm at so and so's house watching a movie. And I'm like, you're at that guy's house watching a movie that murdered one of your friends and supposedly hurt you so bad that you never visited him in prison for 15 years. And you've never come to my house and watched a movie, but you'll go to this guy's house and watch a movie that murdered one of your friends. Maybe you're just clinically insane. Maybe he is just clinically insane. You know, I don't ask him these questions, obviously. But I mean, you know, and I'm not nasty to him. I'm not like, I don't call him a mama's boy, or it's like I don't like. I'm not mean to him. I'm never mean to him. Like even when I was like fronting him out about abandoning us, it's like I just did it in a clinical way. I was like, you broke promises, and you just you abandoned me and my brother and my mother, and you shook my hand and you looked in my face, and you made me a solemn promise and you broke it. And he's like, I don't have any defense for that. Is the one thing that I remember him saying. He might have said something else. But now, like with the boat, he's like in denial about it because he's afraid that I'm gonna be like, hit me up with a couple bucks, being a couple $100 for killing my boat. But I figured it would damage him more to uh, make him sign it over to the my nephew, which hasn't worked out. Which I read the text war we had, a little mini text war. Again, I was very cordial and very nice, and never said stuff like it just needs cleaned up. Well, who's the one that messed it up? Why don't you come over here and clean it up? You think I can hop up in it and clean it up and shape on me? You say the motor just needs a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Why don't you come over and work on the motor? If you're better at it than if you don't believe my cop buddy, and you think you know more than he does. I didn't go there. I go in there. Ain't worth it. You're dealing with illogical, doped up people. It ain't worth it. Plus, the dude's already shown that he's got no honor or integrity. Um, and that, you know, like I said, my mother saved him from starvation and poverty and abuse. I mean, I remember the uncle's house that he would have ended up at. I remember the guy. And due to my cousin, I can't say the things that guy did. Okay, but he was an alcoholic. He was the guy that I told the one story about where um, we were making, we were like 13, 14 or whatever, and snuff was big at the time. Copenhagen, Red Man, stuff like that. So we were all out acting like tough dudes, to jaw in and spitting in the jars and stuff, and playing poker for pennies. Couldn't been no older than 13, 14, something like that. And making all kind of racket. His dad's in there sleeping. This would have been a house that he would have stayed at if he didn't come and live with my mother, who was, in her own way, kind of saintly, you know, in her own way. She wasn't quite all there, but she had her reasons, marrying somebody and finding out. Back then, you just got married, and then finding out who you married is you married a monster. You can understand all that. But that's too long of a sentence. But that's where he would have ended up. But the story that I told on here before was that we're all playing poker and acting like men, all the neighborhood kids, man. We had a whole table of kids, like 5, 6 kids. And the two brothers of the guy, uh, my uncle, where he would have ended up, that would have been his daddy, was sleeping. We were making all kind of racket and stuff. And then next night, my cousin's like, we got to be real quiet tonight, because my dad didn't have any drinks. He had drinks last night, but if we're gonna play, he's like, he was like serious, and we knew he was serious, so we were like dead quiet. The guy couldn't sleep. You still have to talk when you play poker, because you still have to say, raise you 5 cents or whatever. So he comes out, and he's like, don't you little sons of, something along these lines, don't you little bastards know that I gotta work in the morning? And then he starts taking off his belt, and he whips every kid in the room, even the neighbor kids. And there's like 5, 6 of us. He lines us all up and whips us. And I'm not first in line to get whipped, but just basically bend over. No drop trowel, just whipped through the pants, but whipped with a belt. And I'm like, this is really happening. You know, my cousin loves this story. Never seems to get tired of it. The cousin who that's his father, and because that was like just an everyday occurrence to him. It's like you got that's where my foster brother would have ended up when his mom got thrown in jail. Is getting beat like that. Um, so not only would there have not been any food there would have been a lot of sore asses and sore backs because he used to switch sometimes too. Uh, you know, real old school corporal punishment type shit. And so the whipping was easy compared to a switch. But anyways, um, so that's my story about like I come home and I was real sly about it because my dad didn't like whiners. So he's like, "How'd you enjoy your time over at your uncle so and so's?" And I'm like, It was okay. He's like, what do you mean it was okay? I said, well, I guess, may drag it out of me. So it didn't seem like a whiner that uh, my uncle whipped me. And he was like, he whipped you? And that's about all he said before he jumped in the truck. And I don't know what happened to my uncle, but it probably was something not good. But dude never touched me or said a cross word to me again. Because it's like, I can abuse you, but nobody else gets to abuse you. That's probably why it was like with my foster brother. It's like, I can beat this guy up, but nobody in the school's allowed to touch him. That's why he was little Bart. But anyways, I think that's enough chitter chatter, don't you? It's about an hour and 20 minutes. Um, and a lot of that was repeats anyway. But it's kind of funny how, like, with the repeats, you can fit them together in different ways. And also, I like people to know that I'm not making this shit up. So it's, you guys are the police asking me the same questions over and over again. And I'm keeping my story straight. So this isn't bullshit that I'm telling you. But yeah, I got to go through a mourning phase. You know, they're not going to understand any of it probably. Being all sick in the head and stuff. But it is what it is, man. My word means something. And when I say dead, dead, I meant it with my father. I meant it with my sister. It's like my brother's like, don't say that. And I'm like, until I said she's dead to me. Until she admits what she did, I don't want nothing to do with her. Period. Dead. And now so much time has gone by and I've suffered so much over it. You know, any apology would be hollow at this point anyway, because we're going on 2 years. And I was suffering through the worst of my Xanax period, to the point where I was gobbling the things just to deal with getting my soul crushed like that. I was trying to deaden the pain, and that's what I had. Couldn't smoke no herb because that puts me in the ambulances. Um, and so I run out of the Xanax, and I know I got withdrawals staring me in the face, and that's how that was 12, 27, 17, and then like 16, 1, 16, 18, like, what is that, like a month later, I'm in a psychiatric unit, and I'm in there because I gobbled up all my Xanax, and I knew I couldn't score any, and I knew I had withdrawal staring me in the face. That was reason number one. And way down there on reason number two is I was thinking, well, if I could maybe get some help with my CRPS. I had thought about admitting myself into a psychiatric unit, since there's so little understanding about CRPS before. But this is feeling very fragmented and disjointed at this time, so I should probably just stop. And it's all stuff I've said before, but it's all like a tapestry of pain, which was the original title to my novel, was Tapestries of Pain. And I was like, that sounds pretentious as fuck. Let's call it Walks in Blood. You can't ever go wrong putting blood in a title. Because at the time I was thinking commercial. I didn't realize that just writing the novel would be satisfying. So there's a little trick in there where one of the characters' names is Walks in Blood, and I spell it with hyphens, like Walks in Blood, but the title to the book is Walks in Blood. Like travels walks as in travels. It's just a little trick. I was like, I like that better. But it started out as Tapestries of Pain. I can't even remember the, uh, yeah, when you do a tapestry, you got a warp and a woof, like WOOF, you know. I think it's just something like take a walk with me through the warp and woof of pain or some crazy nonsense like that. It was like, uh, my, uh, but have a care, my friend, not to stay too long, lest this wilderness I walk in embrace you in its prickly arms. And here with me you'll stay, dear child, forever and a day. I don't even remember. I wrote it so long. It's something like that. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I did a good job on that, man. I don't really need to get paid. I got paid in another way. It's personal satisfaction. And I met that artist in the when I went into the psychiatric unit after my sister abused me a month later, the chick that made the little tiny drawing that's like etched in my brain, and she's like, "Oh, I'm the same way." She's like, "If I do something that I like, it's like um, that's payment enough for me." And she said once she was like a deeply disturbed person like me, and the police got called out. You know, she had like a studio, and one of the cops was just like looking at all the stuff that she had drawn. And she just looked at her and said, "Never stop doing this," and then just walked out the door. That's all he said to her. You know, she had calmed down or whatever, and they were just like done with her. And the guy was just checking out her work, just like said, "Never stop doing this." And she said that when she does something good or something she likes, um, the satisfaction she gets from it, she said she never thought about selling her stuff or whatever, because that one thing that she drew, it was like this big, you know, and I can't get it out of my head, and it's been uh, it'll be 2 years come January, and it's like I can see it. I can still fucking see it. I looked at it for maybe 3 minutes. I can still fucking see it. I can describe it to you. You know, it's a woman, and it's her hair is like forward, and she's bent in a completely prostrate. That wouldn't be right. She's on her knees, like bent all the way down to the ground, and like she's in a pool of blood, but the blood is like iridescent shades. Like I don't even know what that means. Like if that's like symbolic of like the suffering that she's gone through, turned into beauty. Or I'm not. I write. I don't draw. I can't draw for shit. Um, but you know why that that would be my interpretation of it if I was like art critic or whatever, because it was like somebody that was beaten down, you know, like to the point where they were like just had given up, and were it I don't know, dude. That's the best I got for you. It's like the pool of blood around her was like iridescent and like had so many different colors in it. It like must have took forever to make, and it was a little tiny thing, you know. And I'm like, man, if she could make that into something bigger somehow, which I don't think is possible. I don't know. It's like somebody will buy that. I mean, I don't know who would buy that, but somebody would buy that. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that that's like a. Yeah, I've seen the guy that was in prison for murder, you know, that I was talking about earlier, that like my foster brother went and watched the movie at his house. He sold much less powerful drawings and shit for like $500 to $1,000. One of them was pretty cool because it was like a black and white cheetah, but it was like the way it was shaped is what he's like. Oh yeah, you noticed that, huh? You know, he's like most people don't pick up on that. You know, it's like that's what makes the thing interesting. It's like the way it's shaped. It's like the actual shape of the posture of the I don't know if it's a cheetah or what the hell, some kind of big cat. He was impressed that I noticed that. I was like, I like the shape of it, man. That's what I think. That's what makes it interesting. And he's like surprised because everybody he showed it to never noticed that. Um, but yeah, I mean, if it's kind of a nightmarish thing, but it's nightmarish in a beautiful way. That girl's little drawing. Well, this guy's got buku talent because he had 15 years in prison. He already had talent, I guess, before he started. Then he had nothing to do in prison but to hone that talent and avoid getting raped, I guess. Uh, but anyways, um, he sells his stuff. It's like, but shit, I don't care if I make a dime off of my novels, man. I killed that shit. That's all I need to know. It's like when I started out, I was like, gonna make some money off of this, you know. And I had, I learned some things, you know. I learned that you're not in really control in that situation. Like control is the enemy. It's like when I sat down at the typewriter and wrote my first story by accident. It's like there's something else in control there. That the story's already there. You just you're like a stenographer, and um, I think Stephen King calls it a fossil. You're uncovering a fossil, and you just have to be careful and use and try not to break it and try not to mess it up too bad, you know. So the story itself is already there. I remember telling that to my nephew, and my nephew was young, and he was like, "Oh bullshit," he didn't believe none of it, you know. And I was like, "Well, I did it," so it's like you'd be right, and you're like, "Where in the fuck is this shit coming from?" And then, like I said before, I was walking down the road, and a line came into my mind, just like a white hand sat in his grotto, spitting up vileness. I'm like, what the fuck is a grotto? And I had a dim association with like Playboy or looking at Playboys, and I realized that, oh yeah, the Playboy mansion has a famous grotto in it or something like that. That must have been where I heard the word. But a grotto just means like a cave. A Playboy mansion it probably meant a good place to catch some venereal disease, but or to meet Jimmy Kahn. But you know, it's like, who the fuck is White Hand? What is this about? You know, but it just like was a bolt from the blue, and it just appeared in my head, and I'm like, was walking around after midnight, and I was like, gotta go home and write that down. And I went home and I sat and I wrote a mini chapter, and I was like, I don't know what this has to do with anything, but it has to do with something. And yeah. Anyways, that's enough. That's an hour and 33 minutes. It'll give me something to watch to see how foolish I am. I always enjoy like watching back before I upload it, you know, and because I let the chips fall where they may. I edit stuff out. The only stuff I edit out is stuff that like where I'm using people's names inappropriately. I mostly catch that, or I edited out a piece that was like in the last thing that I did that had nothing to do with nothing and would have been a reference that nobody would have caught because it was just too freaking obscure. And that's not an insult to anybody. It was just, it didn't even make any sense, really. That was the main reason. It's like, not only is that an obscure, weird reference, it was like, it was just like a homosexual character out of a famous book. And these were homosexual women involved in this assault. And it's like, it doesn't really it just gets in the way. So that's I'll edit something out like that. But mostly, if I'm gonna, mostly I leave my foolish ass unedited. And if I'm a fool, I'm a fool. You know, ain't no fool like an old fool. One of these days, I am gonna learn that Boyd Rivers song and sing it for y'all. Stay off the cigarettes and get my voice in decent shape. But um, it's oh, look how bright it's. Whew, that sun just blasted me now, man. I get to see me in all my hideousness, yeah, I need to do some hair trimming. And that sun just hit over top of them trees, man. And damn. Anyways, one of these days I'll sing for y'all, and it'll just be me singing. I'll have a video of me punching a door. Then I have a video of me just singing. Really trying to sing, because um, occasionally I can pull that off if I keep it in the lower registers. But it's by a guy named Boyd Rivers, and it's called "You Got to Get Sick and Die One of These Days." But it's religious themed, and it's a hymnal. And then I was gonna rewrite it into something neutral, where the lords and the powers in his hand. I'm just gonna restructure the song and do like a neutral song. In other words, it's not an atheist song. It's not a spiritual. What do you call them? A hymnal type of thing. I don't even know at this point. That sun blasted me in the freaking face. Um, but yeah, I before the first bed bug thing, I had already had it written down, but it was on my bed, so I had to throw it in a bag. I had already rewrote the song the way I wanted it to, and I just needed to practice it, you know. And it would have to be a cappella, and I can't sing and play guitar at the same time. I don't know how anybody can do that. It's freaking crazy to me. Um, but yeah, yeah, I got ambitions. I still want to finish my book, which I haven't dived back into because damn, like I'm actually I got a bunch of numbers on the back, but I don't have that much of this to do left. The problem is like I gotta look up a lot of the terms and words in it because it's written by a German dude translated into English, and he's got these names in it, and I want to try to get the names as accurate as possible. And you know, it's some pretty heady shit, even for like college students. But for me, it's understandable because the guy's writing style is very direct, and he's not a pretentious dude. He's not there to impress you with his brain. He wants you to understand things. You know what I mean? He's like the purpose of me writing this is to help people understand this, especially this Escape from Freedom book, because this was written in 1941. Uh, they had already rounded up all the Jews and were murdering them, and it was known. And he had lived in Germany and got the fuck out of there, like I said in another video, and lived in New York City and became an American citizen because he wasn't going to stay in Germany once he saw all that shit coming. He saw that shit coming a mile away. So I think he was a U.S. citizen by 1936 and got the hell out of the country before Poland and before World War II and all that. But the reason why that book is, heavy but understandable is because it was really important to the guy, I think, to be understood. And it doesn't make it an easy read at all, believe me. But because it's dealing with heavy psychological shit. But he was like highly motivated because millions of people were dying. There was a world war going on, and this was the thing that he could do. You know, He felt like this is my gift. This is my insight into human nature and my ability to write. This is what I can do. You know, and this is important for people to understand it so that never ever happens again. Because he was probably a bit of a Pollyanna like me, thinking that, you know, people learn from their mistakes and people are better than they are and whatnot. But yeah, I have things to do. It's just, you know, now I got to deal with the bed bug thing again. I got to deal with, I got so much stuff to deal with, you know. It's like, yeah, so many things to do. Um, that I don't want to do. This is a thing I actually want to do that I'm not good at that I want to do. I want to sing my song, uh, which I'm not good at. I'm good at punching things, so punching the door will be easy. Unless I break my hand, and then you will hear me probably say, ah! And I'll leave you on there for the 911 call. I think I broke my hand accidentally. It accidentally ran into a door. Because, yeah, I don't think I have fragile bones or anything like that, but you got to hit, like, I got protruding knuckles, which is not good, but I can cover that. That's good for busting up somebody's face, but I can cover that up with a glove or, you know, I'll have my hand well padded, believe me. But you always hear people bragging about that, you know, and I said I had the Fist of Doom, and there's even like a anime character that's One Punch Man or something like that. It's got super punch and all that, you know, and I'm talking about inheriting my dad's sledgehammer fist and all that. And I was like, talk is cheap, man. Demonstration may be in order. There is a hole like beside the door, which was just my left hand. It's not like a hole, but it's like a dented in area that could easily be made into a hole. That you know, I think that's just drywall there, and I didn't really hit it like hit it like the drywall is a real thick drywall. I just kind of like popped it like in just probably in playfulness. I actually put a hole in this other place I was living and through the drywall. When I was in a good mood, I was just and my fist went through the wall, and I'm like, oh, time to get the duct tape out. Um, but now I'm chattering on foolishly for no reason, which I'm prone to do. Um, Trying to pick myself up out of the gutter as always, mood wise, and yeah. Now as far as like moving around and getting anything done, that's a whole other deal. Um, you gotta come up with like a plan too when you're depressed like this. It's like my plan that one day was to make an ad. All I wanted to do was make an ad for the broken scooter. Never got around to it. But now that I got my phone working, um, probably making some phone calls. A couple of phone calls, maybe. It's 7:46 with the sun beaming. So I think I have my head together enough for that because a few of them days, man, my head was not a good place to talk to anybody, even if my phone worked. Um, you know, I could have borrowed the phone, which would have been annoying as fuck. Borrowed somebody's phone and made these phone calls and stuff. But I just wasn't in the right frame of mind to be doing that kind of stuff. Dealing with my foster brother and just wanting to get the boat thing done. You know, if I was strong enough, I would just like wheel it into the neighbor's yard and say, "Here you go." And take the screwdriver and take the license plate off it. And I said, "Scrap it for whatever it's worth." Just ask them first if they wanted a free boat. I, but now I already gave it to the war vet guy, so that ship's already passed. And maybe I'll talk to Lisa. Oops, that's probably bad. Maybe not. I'll just leave her name out there, but maybe I'll talk to Lisa and you know, see what she'd take for it, or what they would probably know the scrap value because they used to scrap a lot of metal. But the guy's driving truck now, and he's doing a lot better. So they might not even be interested. But they used to dump a whole bunch of scrap metal back there and be sawing it up and shit, making a bunch of racket. But now that he's driving truck, I think they're making better money. Because I know they got a killer deal on a hot tub, and I know they put in like uh, paneling and stuff for the hot tub, and so their financial situation's probably changed. So I haven't talked to her for a while, though she likes me, and not many people do. But yeah, I haven't seen her in a while or talked to her. She's been very busy lately. That's way better. Maybe I'll call her over and have a quick conversation with her if the war vet ain't out there. Because I don't think he'll ever get that. I don't think he'll ever, like, all he's got to do is, like, put it in the mailbox and the guy will sign it. Because he knows it's my boat. He's still kind of afraid of me from, well, I sent him a picture because I had him get that C note. So I edited out the piece where I was tearing up the C note. And for somebody like him, you know, that's a fucking horror video. You know, it's like watching somebody being beheaded. So, you know, um, he knows me and he knows the lengths that I'm willing to go to. So, you know, he knows that boat's mine, and like he's got to sign it over, regardless of who he's signing it over to. Why he hasn't signed it over yet, I don't know. I think he had maybe some kind of hopes of selling it, frankly. That's how low of opinion I have of the dude. But yeah, I can't talk to the war vet about it, you know, because he just won't talk about it. I was like, that one day I was like, just give me 2 minutes, please, and don't say nothing. Just 2 minutes, you know. And then like he's like, your 2 minutes are up, you know. And all I wanted to talk about was putting money in his pocket through this boat. And I was explaining to him, you know, it's like I'm gonna go in the house and I want to get on the phone. I want to talk to the guy who owns the boat about signing the boat over to you so you can sell it, because this whole idea of scrapping it is just not a good idea. You know, scrapping it for metal, you're going to get more out of it as a boat to some lunatic who wants a project, or just not necessarily a lunatic, but somebody who wants a project and wants to throw some money into it. Um, or like a poor, you know, like a poor person that's like, well, this is the best I can do. I can do something with this, you know, or scrap metal, not the way to go. So, in other words, I can't talk to the Lisa person while he's out there, and he's usually out there. I don't know why he's usually out there, but he's usually out there. You know, the whole idea of the TV and the PlayStation was to keep him up there, but he's out there. So I can't talk to Lisa about it in front of him. And anyways, yeah. But thank you for listening. Hopefully this will help snap me out of my depression and I'll actually move today, because I need to put more bed bug poison underneath this bed and mattress, and at the very least. And they don't like lavender, so I got lavender fabric softener. So I'm gonna like put a sheet on the bed that's like heavy lavender fabric softener. And probably each night before I go to bed, I got a bunch of it, so I'll just take this downy lavender fabric softener and just like ring the bed with it, and it'll be the ring of poison, which I don't know, may be killing me too. I don't know, but it's a combination of diatomaceous earth, which is a natural compound which wouldn't poison me, and poison. So, you know, it's, you saw it in one video if you're a follower of mine, which I fucking hate that expression, but you can see it on the floor as I'm walking out that one video where I walk outside. But anyways, once again, thank you for listening. And yeah, wish you the best as always. Bye.